Here we go, Swagoo. Should Russell Wilson and the Broncos make up or break up?
G, the problem is they already broke up, G. They broke up, and it was an ugly breakup. It was one of the breakups where when you get the Valentine's Day, you turn all the lights off in your house, and you just spend the rest of the day in the dark, okay? But Russell Wilson is going to come to the light, man. He'll find a place that's going to love him, that he's going to play good football for and be in a great situation. It may be Pittsburgh, but this breakup happened a while ago, so you don't have to buy any flowers or candy.
I'm with you on that one. Lewis, here's an interesting one. Stephon Diggs and the Bills, make up or break up?
I hated this. I hated trying to decide which one to pick. I feel like maybe a clean start would be good for both of these teams. I mean, with Stephon going somewhere else, I'm going to say break up. Although you don't want to break up with a dude as good as Stephon Diggs. And also you got Gabe Davis coming up for unrestricted free agency, so that leaves you with, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Khalil Shakir, who look good in the playoffs. Maybe it's just something like if they can replace him, great. I just don't know if they can. But I'll tell you what, it just seems like something like this relationship is almost at the point where it's just like, man, it would just be best for everyone to start over.
Sometimes it does feel that way, although Josh had nice things to say about him at the Super Bowl. I guess that's what you would expect. Field, let's go to Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett and the Steelers, make up or break up?
Yeah, Greeny, I'm going to make my own rules. Make up and then back up. As in, he's going to be the backup quarterback to Justin Fields, hopefully. But Kenny Pickett has very, very little trade value right now, and you can't cut him because of cap ramifications. So you make up by keeping him around on the roster, and then you make him your backup as the quarterback 2 behind Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, or somebody else they find a way to acquire this offseason.
That's going to be a really interesting one. And the interesting part about Fields here in all of this, I'll remind everyone, in fact, I'll show it to you in case you didn't see it. This was Schefter talking about who Pittsburgh might want as their next quarterback. Listen.
We know that Pittsburgh's going to go out and get some type of quarterback, whether that's Ryan Tannehill, whether that's Russell Wilson, whether that's Justin Fields, Justin Fields, I know Mike Tomlin's a big fan of Justin Fields. We'll keep that in mind during the offseason in the coming weeks.
Schefter had a little smile. So you have to, I call myself the Schefter whisperer, right? Because Schefter will give you just as much information as he's comfortable giving you in the moment, and you have to then read the body language and the facial expression. And that little smile tells me there's smoke and there's fire there. So we talked about Justin Fields to Atlanta earlier, Lewis. How do you like Justin Fields in Pittsburgh?
I like him a lot. Look, I think of the effect that Arthur Smith had on Ryan Tannehill when Ryan Tannehill eventually took over for Marcus Mariota when they were down in Tennessee and Arthur was calling plays down there. The play-action game with Justin under center on first and second down with the dynamic duo that they have at the running back position right there with Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, it is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. With the weapons with George Pickens and Deontay Johnson and Pat Freiermuth, are you kidding? With Justin, now that doesn't mean you let to park him under center all the time. They'll put him in gun. Mike wants to be a very multiple type of offense. But I think as far as letting the run game supplement what he can do as far as being a downfield play-action, pass-oriented type of thrower, and then having design runs put in there for him, especially in the red area. Do you remember how much of a problem Ryan Tannehill was in the red area as a runner-thrower? Just think of the possibilities here with a guy who is infinitely more talented naturally than Ryan Tannehill, that being Justin Fields. Man, look, I don't want to ever put anybody in front of my boy Kenny Pickett because Kenny's my guy. He's my guy. But Justin Fields is one of those dudes who I'd be like, might have to put him in front of you, Kenny. Might have to go ahead and work with this because Justin in that offense. It would work. It would work.
Yeah,
I see that pit for the folks who don't know why, that pit helmet that you see over the shoulder of Lewis Riddick. That is at least one of the connections with Kenny Pickett there. So Marcus, before I come to you, let me very quickly, because I just glanced down here. Field, in your mock draft, which is up and available right now, you have the Steelers taking a quarterback at number 20, Bo Nix from Oregon, who had a monster season this past year, 45 touchdowns, 3 picks. This is the top 10 of Fields' new mock draft. You see the 3 quarterbacks at the very top of the draft. The order there is interesting. He has Jaden Daniels second. for those of you who are with us here, he has J.J. McCarthy also in the first round at number 12 overall to Denver. And then you have Bo Nix at number 20 to Pittsburgh. So talk to me here, Yates.
First of all, we can't make trades. So I would have traded for Justin Fields if I could, but the rules at ESPN are we don't do trades in Mock 1.0. I wrote about this in the write-up specific to Bo Nix, is that whether you think Bo Nix is a perfect prospect or not, the absolute bottom line is the Pittsburgh Steelers must exhaust every resource this offseason to find ways to bring in competition for Kenny Pickett. And some might say in Pittsburgh right now, Bo Nix represents too much of what Kenny Pickett brings to the table right now, which is a player whose ceiling might not be as high as others relative to the quarterback in this draft class. But let me tell you this past season, absolutely surgical was Bo Nix. Completed nearly 78% of his passes. And while he is not nearly as much of an unscripted quarterback as he was early in his Auburn career, which ended up playing to his detriment, he's a good athlete as well. So Bo Nix can do some things outside of the pocket, whether it's as a scrambler or as a design runner. And Pittsburgh must, as a responsibility to the organization, think long and hard about every quarterback option available to them this offseason.
So, Marcus, if the quarterback options are someone like Bo Nix, 20th in this draft, someone like Russell Wilson, who will come very inexpensively based upon the contract situation. Now, for those who don't know, I won't go into the details. Just suffice it to say, if you're the Steelers, you will probably be able to sign Russell Wilson for next to nothing, or trading something of value for Justin Fields and probably giving him a contract extension. Which of those options do you like, Swagoo?
Well, we not under the parameters of ESPN, so we can make trades and we can do anything on Get Up on this Wednesday morning.
Right.
Talking about Baltimore, one of the top defenses. Talking about Cleveland, one of the top defenses in Cincinnati, plays at a very high level defensively as well. You think about the quarterbacks in that division with Lamar and obviously Joe Burrow coming back off of an injury. We'll see what Deshaun gets to in Cleveland. But that is the thought process of, if we don't have a guy at that position that can be dynamic and force defenses to play a certain way, our back is against the wall. Justin Fields would absolutely change how your defensive philosophy would be coming into the game playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it'd be a great fit. Obviously, we talked about Atlanta, but when you think about this division, where these defenses are and how good this division is, a dual threat quarterback that can throw the ball at a very high level changes the picture and how you can compete in that division alone. So I think it would be a phenomenal idea to trade for Justin Fields and create a different offensive identity.
So, Lewis, let's have some fun here. Let's play the game out. The two teams everyone is talking about for Fields are the Falcons and the Steelers. The Falcons have the 8th pick in this draft. Seems very unlikely they would trade that. The Steelers have the 20th pick. You think the Bears could get the would you if you're the Steelers, are you trading the 20th pick in the draft for Justin Fields? I mean, would you rather have Justin Fields or Bo Nix as your quarterback for the next 5 years? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm considering it. I think we're having some long discussions about it. Yeah, whether or not, like, what kind of contract then are we going to sign Justin Fields to? You know, is he comfortable with what he thinks he can do with him? Again, I think you have to go off of history compared to what he did, you know, with Ryan Tannehill. Does Arthur or does Mike really like a guy like Bo Nix or a guy like J.J. McCarthy, who, by the way, is one of those guys, and like Jim Harbaugh told you, keep an eye on. J.J. McCarthy has some nice tape. Is it more beneficial to just sit and take one of those two guys as opposed to what you'd have to give away in terms of compensation to get Justin Fields and then sign him to an extension? These are the kind of conversations that are being held in Pittsburgh right now, I'm sure. But I would definitely consider it. I would consider it because I believe Justin can be a dynamic upper echelon all-around quarterback. I don't even like saying dual threat, because sometimes when you say dual threat, people go, oh, he's a runner. He's just a runner who throws it sometimes. Yeah. No, I'm going to say an all-around quarterback. Yeah. Because I do believe he can be that.
Yeah, he has a cannon for an arm, and he threw 65 touchdowns. Yeah, real quick, Marcus, go.
I got a question. Babyface, ain't Bo Nix how old is Bo Nix as well? Like, that's got to be a part of the conversation.
He's 10 months younger than Justin Fields.
That's correct. He is 23 years old, Swagoo. But you know what, Swagoo? Couple things. First of all, quarterback lifelines. You know, the shelf life for quarterbacks is longer than ever now in the NFL. And Jaden Daniels is same age as Bo Nix, right? Like, I'm not saying it's a non-factor. Michael Penix, same age. Michael Penix would be 24 a week after the draft. Like, it's less of a factor at that position for me than pretty much any other position in the entire draft process.
I actually think it's bordering on a benefit because, I mean, Bo Nix has started more college football games than any quarterback in the history of college football.
Sure.
That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing if you look at the way these things have gone lately. But, I mean, Justin Fields, to me, I felt like you were shaking your head very quickly, Field. Are you trading number 20 for Justin Fields, yes or no?
Let me be very clear. When you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you need a quarterback upgrade, there aren't a bunch of good free agents. You don't have the luxury of just doing things in the perfect world. I do think that 20 is like a little steep, though. I would be starting with a second-round pick, number 50 overall, and I think Lewis probably would agree with this, and see if you can get it done with the centerpiece being pick 50 and maybe some other goodies to put it over the top. But I get it. When you need a quarterback desperately and there aren't a bunch of great options, sometimes you do act out of desperation. If I had to break the tie, though, I would lean towards a quarterback at pick 20 rather than trading for Justin Fields.
All right. So says Babyface Yates, which is his rap name, by the way, for those of you who are not aware.
Album dropping tomorrow.
And he has an album dropping next week.